Raising a village, one egg at a time, is a Trustlines Development Network nutrition and health ongoing project in Uganda. This documentation was filmed in Uganda and edited and produced in the United States by Trustlines Development Network.
Uganda is often referred to as the Pearl of Africa, and indeed, visiting this country would confirm that. It is a country full of natural beauty and some of the friendliest people you will ever meet. Nevertheless, the country has a significant number of its population living in extreme poverty, especially in rural areas. Children, the most vulnerable of this population, are impacted the most due to malnutrition and consequently very poor health.
It is tempting to ignore these extremely poor rural villages and that we neglect the truly disadvantaged, the underserved, and their challenges. Trustlines focuses and strives to reach these villages, which are extremely difficult to access. It takes hours and a lot of courage to get to these places because of the very bad road conditions. It is worth our while, nevertheless, to reach these children in these villages simply because any one of them could have been one of us. This is Michael Magala.
And I am Edith Mubanda. Our organization, Trustlines Development Network, is a non-profit with headquarters in Boone, North Carolina. We advocate, foster, and provide resources and education to fight poverty by promoting sustainable hands-on development projects. On this trip, we set out to implement one of our programs, Raising a Village, One Egg at a Time. With financial help from the International Egg Foundation, friends, and local leaders, we visited and encouraged families with nutritionally vulnerable infants and children to add an egg a day to their diet to minimize malnutrition and stunted growth. In addition to the suburbs of Kampala, the capital city, we visited Bukuya village in Mubende district, about 125 kilometers or 78 miles northwest of Kampala. The drive from Kampala city to Bukuya should be about 2 hours, but it took us 3 hours due to extremely poor road conditions. We also visited Ajija village in Buyikwe district, 60 kilometers or 39 miles east of Kampala.
So we've come to Bukuya. This is one of the schools. I don't remember the name of the school.
This one. New Hope.
New Hope.
Okay. New Hope. New Hope Primary School. I think we are just gathered here.
We arrived shortly after 2 p.m. in Bukuya village, 78 miles northwest of Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. We immediately began meeting with our local team of coordinators. The coordinators are very instrumental in screening and selecting potential chicken and egg recipients. They also gather the children in one place where we can meet and greet them. In this village, the children were gathered at New Hope Primary School. Chief Operations Officer Edith Mubanda is seen here introducing the local coordinators to the Trustlines traveling team. Prospective recipient Betty Naiga wants to know whether our project requires them to give back chickens in case they might fly, to which we promptly said no. We told them that they fully own the chickens to provide them with eggs. Here, Mr. Polycarp Chiberu emphasizes to the recipients that it is their responsibility to look after the chickens and they have to feed them and to look after them without waiting for the adults to help them. So it is their responsibility, Mr. Chiberu is emphasizing to the prospective recipients.
In the program, Raising a Village One Egg at a Time, each family with vulnerable children is given a hen and a rooster, primarily for each child to increase eggs and therefore protein consumption. The goal is for the children to end up with a continuous and sustainable supply of eggs, chicken, and protein at a low cost. This method of self-sufficiency not only improves health through high-quality protein, but it also reduces perpetual dependency on food aid. The chickens provide eggs for immediate nutrition and sustainability when the chicks multiply. The Trustlines local team and village leaders facilitated the implementation of this program. Executives from Trustlines Development Network personally delivered the chicken, eggs, and starter chicken feed to 3 different villages. Local chicken suppliers were used to provide education and technical support to the children. The parents, guardians, and caretakers were amused at our emphasis that the children are the principal owners of the chicken and therefore eggs. They honored it and agreed to help the children. Trustlines was privileged to have Mr. Antege, one of the village leaders, screen the chicken and egg recipients, as well as look for breeders in the area. Each child got a rooster and a hen, and some got a tray of eggs. Mr. Edward Kakembo, a young local breeder in Bukuya, gave us a tour of his chicken houses. He also gave a brief lesson to the children on how to take care of the chicken for maximum yield and benefit. One of the most rewarding results of this program was to see children beaming with optimism and joy at the prospect of owning chicken that would give them eggs. And what? They don't have to wait for an important occasion to eat the eggs? Wow, that was something. They even started realizing their dream of eating eggs within 1 to 2 weeks after they received the chicken. You see, the chicken started laying eggs right away. What a big morale booster for the children, not to mention the health benefits.
Here are some of the children and their families that were privileged to meet and get to know. Some of these families are extremely poor, and therefore children born under these conditions are likely to remain so, smart or dumb, without any opportunity to succeed, let alone survive childhood. Trustlines Development Network spares no effort in seeking these children out and helping them and their families whenever we can. In this documentation, we not only mention the direct benefit recipients of the chicken and eggs, but we also identify the total number of children living in the household, since they also reap the health and nutrition benefits of our chicken and eggs project.
Kevin Katongole, age 10. Grandma is responsible for 10-year-old Kevin, who was left at her doorstep by his mother when he was only 3 months old. The father comes by, but he's unable to take care of Kevin due to some unknown health problems. Kevin was thrilled to be a part of the project and could not wait to start rearing chickens and eating eggs. There are 3 children in this household.
Regan Matovu is 12 years old. Regan enjoys the company of 2 young siblings and is lucky to have both parents alive and around. He said he placed 9th out of 56 children in the last school term. At this, his dad shrugged and chuckled and said, "I'm yet to pick up the report card to see that for myself. But first I must sell my bricks to clear a tuition fee balance from the last term, and then get the report card." Regan knows the family financial dilemma very well and does not sit around waiting for it to improve on its own. He does odd jobs on the village to raise money for his fees. When we dropped by to discuss the chicken project, Reagan proudly showed us the sweet potato garden he had planted himself to sell for school fees. He was delighted with the idea of children in the family eating eggs and whenever they wanted. There are 3 children in this household.
Slivia, age 9. Slivia's days are rather hectic. She wakes up before dawn and starts an open fire between 3 stones to boil water for breakfast tea. No milk, maybe a spoonful of sugar if she's lucky. Leftover corn on the cob or cassava would go well with tea, if indeed some was left over from supper the night before. She washes dishes, sweeps the house, the yard, and serves her 80-plus-year-old grandma some tea. And she gets lunch and supper started as well. She fills a plastic bag with what she will use during the day. All that before 7 a.m., since she needs to be at school by 7. Slivia makes a mental note of afternoon activities. There is weeding the garden, fetching water from the well, washing hers and grandma's clothes, getting food from the garden, planting more if there is time, preparing food, doing chores for neighbors to earn money for her school fees. Okay, later she will add more items. Now, this list of chores is long enough for most women, but this is no ordinary woman. She is none other than 9-year-old Slivia Nalukwago, taken on by her grandmother at 2.5 years old when her mother died. No one knows who the father is. Her grandmother is disabled and can no longer take care of Slivia. So now Slivia is solely responsible for her grandmother at such a young age. In fact, it was grandma's idea for Slivia to do chores for school fees. The good thing about her is that she still listens to me, boss her grandma. Slivia hurries back from school to check on grandma before doing homework. If she did not do it in the morning, that is. She weeds the garden and then does chores for the neighbors to earn money. Slivia beams with joy and pride when she talks about her new role of rearing chicken. She reports her hen to have laid at least 12 eggs in 2 weeks. Slivia is the only child in the house.
Although most of our chicken and egg recipients are not orphaned, they have insurmountable challenges of one kind or another, making them ideal beneficiaries for our chicken and egg project.
Timothy, age 6, Joyce, age 9, and Austin, age 12. Timothy, Joyce, and Austin are siblings whose hopes of eating eggs regularly were raised 1 year ago, only to be dashed when the hen and rooster they received both died. They were among the 10 families who lost chicken from the pilot project. We later learned that the chickens were already sick when we gave them out. The children are already enjoying the eggs from the replacement chicken that they received. There are 5 to 8 children in the house at any one time.
Natalie, age 9, Ryan, age 6, Michaela, age 3. Natalie, Ryan, and Michaela's parents, who say they live hand to mouth, welcomed the improvement in their children's diet by eating eggs. The mother sees this chicken project as a way to introduce practical work to the children away from schoolwork. It keeps the children busy during their free time and instills responsibility. After overcoming fear of the chicken, Natalie cleans the chicken house and feeds the chicken. Ryan prefers to collect grass for the chicken. So far, Michaela just enjoys bossing the older siblings around as she enjoys the eggs. Fried, please, she says with a smile. There are 3 children in this household.
Aliva, age 13, Juju, age 11, and Nalwoga, age 6, like doing things together, and it shows. Paternal grandmother, Betty, who calls herself advanced in age, primarily takes care of the children due to the parents' unstable job situation. Grandma makes sure that the children get their eggs regardless of where they are, even when they're in boarding schools. These siblings are the showcase for creativity in taking care of the only surviving chicken from last year's pilot project. The children must watch their hen all the time in case it gets stolen. Sometimes they even put it on a leash or cage it to protect it. They named their chicken Alinjuna by combining the first 2 letters of their names. They are not yet tired of eating their eggs boiled or fried. Egg omelette sandwiches are the most recent favorite breakfast item. There are 3 children in the house.
Gerald, 11, Jesse, age 9. Gerald and Jesse's parents are struggling just like other parents. They hope to make a business out of the eggs someday. The children want their eggs fried. There are 4 children in this household.
Anisha, age 4, and Martha, age 6. These children's parents are also struggling to make ends meet and welcome the idea of children getting more protein from eggs. Perhaps they can make a business out of the hens too someday. They have 7 children in the house to feed.
Rachel Nagai, age 5. Rachel is no longer idle when she wakes up. She cleans after the chicken, provides food and water, and is very excited about the birds. She looks forward to beginning her days and has enjoyed her eggs tremendously. There are 4 children in this household.
Fabio, age 6, and Facilda, age 4. These children cannot wait to eat the eggs. Fabio not only cleans the hen house, but he lets them out in the morning to fend for themselves and delights in chasing them straight back into their hen house when evening comes. There are 7 children to be taken care of in this household. Ukasha Kajimu, age 10, and Dale Gracious, age 14. The parents who describe their economic situation as very bad believe the chicken project will instill responsibility and build good character in their children. There are 4 children in the house. Dale Gracias, age 5. Bubbly Dale Gracias and his 2 siblings are being raised by a single mother. Deo did not wince at all when we brought the chicken. He acted like he had been around hens all his life when he did not hesitate to hold his chicken. There are 3 children in the house. Gladys Namboze. 3-year-old Namboze was abandoned by her mother in the suburbs of Kampala at great-grandma's house when she was only 8 months old. Now, great-grandma already has 7 grandchildren to take care of and is really no longer physically capable of tending a garden to grow food for all the grandchildren. So, she buys food using inconsistent tenant income. Great-grandma welcomed the extra protein from the eggs the chicken would lay for the grandchildren. There are 7 to 10 grandchildren in the house at any one time.
ennaku bbiri ngemu eriiso lyaziba ngemu nnamu n'endala neerwala eriiso lyeyasooka okuva ensajja
mwagiwa ku ddagala lwaki lwaki temwagamba maama n'agula eddagala oke kati eno munagirabirira tewakola ki
waliwo eddagala
lwaki temwagula
ziwatusi
kale kati eno munagirabirira bulungi aha mutya mmere ki kyacu aha ate bwenaalwala mumanye eddagala yokyo ani anaabagamba eddagala ate amagi gamugalya weyanze ayi
Amanya gange nze Joy Nakawaala balayetya enkoko era kiwulanga lwamaako balengako netukozera kugera ku masya amanya gange yeze mtebitimose balayetubazina enkoko tugenda zirundanga situbikira amagi tulyengako nga tugenda ku ssomero.
By the end of our trip, we had given out 46 chickens to 23 families, immediately benefiting roughly 64 to 80 children in those households. Why the range in numbers? Well, here's why. We not only included the direct recipients in this number, but also other children in the household. The number of children benefiting is likely to be higher, since most Ugandan families are constantly in a state of flux. Children of relatives and neighbors come and go all the time. The projected impact of the children benefiting from this project in those communities is estimated to be more than 250 in 1 year. The fact that the chicken started laying eggs 1 to 2 weeks afterwards and children got eggs provided the children and families with the possibilities of better health and nutrition ahead. Just like a local proverbs, 1 by 1 makes a bundle, the chicken project gave them hope that this 1 egg at a time thing might work after all. It is important to point out that even though many of the recipients are young, most of them mentioned that if they are lucky enough to hatch more chicks, they want to sell some eggs and maybe chicken to get money for school fees. Most families are struggling, and the children, even at this young age, see it and want to help their parents. In the meantime, the children are enjoying eggs prepared in all kinds of ways. So far, doing the chores that result in eating eggs like never before makes the work worthwhile. Trustlines is very optimistic about this chicken and egg project. The dream for children to have high protein at a relatively low cost is visible. The possibility of a continuous and sustainable supply of eggs and chicken for better health, nutrition, and growth is almost within reach for some children. We would like to thank our sponsors, the board of directors, and the local team for their support as we make a difference in the lives of children, one project at a time, one family at a time, one child at a time, one step at a time, and one egg at a time. Thank you.